We are here live at the LBC studios, and I just wanted to,
hi everybody.
As we're beginning here, I do want to just say a few things, like hello. We love our local DJs. Local meaning we're all connected, and music is everywhere. You just have to find it. What calls you, there you go. We've got Jim Prell's show at the Music Authority. It streams 24/7 with 15 live hours during the week. And there's apps for listening available. And I believe there is a page dedicated to those particular listeners coming. And if you want to contact me, I can hook you up. And someone's getting a call. Okay. So, yeah, contact me. And if you like his playlist, you like what he plays, you might end up hearing things that you didn't know of that is on that same thing. Also, I'm not really sure if anyone can actually hear me. Randy, can you hear me? I forgot to put my headphones on.
You can use the speaker like this, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Oh, he can hear. Awesome. Okay, so I also wanted to give a shout out to our really good friend Nelson Bragg. It's the 10-year anniversary of his album Day Into Night, and he's got a special edition. I think it's a blue vinyl album. And it's
the impulsive buyer.
Yeah, it's available at Freak Beat Records in Los Angeles, and there's only 300 copies. Was it 300 or 5? So 300?
I think 300.
Yeah, 300 copies available. So hopefully you can pick one up. Members of the Smithereens, the Wonderments, Baby Lemonade, and Brian Wilson's band has joined him on the making of that record, along with some other amazing people.
It's an amazing album. I think we listened to it for a month straight and didn't listen to anything else.
Yeah, and what's funny is when I first opened that CD, the first thing I did was smell it, because it had a smell to it, and I used to like to do that with vinyl albums, which I'm sure I inspired him to do this 10 years later. Not really, because blue vinyl smells much different than the licorice vinyl.
It actually does.
Yeah, so I smelled it and I made a comment, and Nelson's like, okay, but how does it sound? Using all senses. So if you cannot get a hold of Freak Beat physically to walk into their store, you can go to nelsonbragg.com or stillderekmusic.com. So I just wanted to give those shouts out.
Reminds me of that old story of Frank Sinatra hanging out with Bing Crosby. He sent him his Christmas album. He goes, hey, Bing, did you hear that Christmas album I sent you? And Bing is like, yes, I'll treasure it always, Frank. Frank's like, yeah, but will you listen to it?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that story, which I probably told on Vlad's previous.
I've never heard that story before, so that's really good. So tonight we're celebrating
the Memphis Horns.
Right.
And the Memphis Horns, a lot of people, they're one of those behind-the-scenes types of people that plan everything. Of course, everybody by now probably knows about the Wrecking Crew. There's been an amazing book and a documentary. Also, they did one, Standing in the Shadows of Motown, for the Funk Brothers in the Motor City, which played pretty much on all the hits from Motown. And these are people that really probably didn't get paid a whole lot to do it. They played on a million records you've heard a million times. And I would say a lot of people don't really know about the Memphis Horns, because they are, the Stax equivalent. You've got your Wrecking Crew in LA. You've got Motown, and Stax was pulling that whole thing together in Memphis. And just pretty much anything recorded on Stax label back in the 60s that had horns on it, it's the Memphis Horns. So we're talking, stuff like Soul Man and things like that. They played with Otis Redding, Sitting on Dock of Bay. So many tracks And when you hear that sound of it's just the only way I can explain Memphis Horns is it's got a really earthy tone to it. It wasn't like the polished, reverby, perfectly mixed. It was earthy, and it felt like, where it came from. It just really had that great soul to it, and no nonsense. And they played on so many records that we couldn't even begin to actually go through. But we did pick out a few tonight that we're really excited about.
And I have to just add to that when I went to do a search for the songs that they did, it's just not clear. It is not clear whatsoever. And I finally just threw in the towel and said, Tom?
Yeah, so I reached out. It's really cool because actually had the good fortune of being managed by the same manager as the Memphis Horns in the early 2000s, and Adam Sloat. And so through that, I was able to, we were actually able to get Wayne Jackson, who played trumpet, to come over and guest on a song. More on that later, but just to kind of go through like a list of songs that they played on. We're talking Dusty Springfield, Son of a Preacher Man, Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond.
Randy, that one's for you.
There you go, Randy. That one's for you. Al Green. You think of those horns on all those Al Green records, like Tired of Being Alone and things like that. I mean, it's that sound, those close, locked in, not overdubbed, not crazy stuff on it.
And should we just mention, it was tenor sax, tenor sax and a trumpet.
Andrew Love, and Wayne Jackson played trumpet. In the 80s, they had a revival, folks like U2 and obviously Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer, stuff like that.
Yes, and the U2 one was for Joshua Tree, was that right?
No, it was for the Angel Farm, which was on the follow-up album. I'd have to look it up.
Sorry.
I'm not the world's biggest U2 fan. I love them; they're great, but
it's so complicated.
I'm pretty sure it was on like Rattle and Hum. But think about songs like "Theme from Shaft," those horns you hear on there. I mean, that's Memphis Horns. Otis Redding, Dock of the Bay. Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley. Even recorded with, they recorded with Aretha Franklin, Steve Winwood, and even Sting. And I've got a little story on that too, because I was one of the few proud people that got to read a little bit of Wayne Jackson's book, which I don't think has ever been published, but if it is, I'm going to go out and get it.
Sorry, I might stress my eyes.
Hopefully I was okay to say that, Adam Sloat, if you ever do watch this, which I'm sure you won't.
That's okay. I was distracting them by pulling my dress out like that.
So anyway, where do we start? It's always best to start from the beginning, You
like their bio?
Yeah, let's go through that.
Okay. So,
and I've done a lot of talking, so probably you should talk a little bit.
I'm trying to think where to begin. Why don't you play a song? Oh wait, do you know any songs without me having to do anything?
No. Yeah, probably. But see, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to play songs. Obviously, they're not songs they wrote, but they're songs that they played on. And you'll be like, wow, maybe I didn't know that, or maybe you did, which in case you're very cool and in the loop. But a lot of people just don't, like I said, a lot of people don't know about him. So, so here we go.
Okay, well, we know that, let's see. So Wayne Jackson, the trumpet player, and Andrew Love on the tenor sax. Let's see, Love, who we lost to Alzheimer's. Really, should I talk about that? I don't think so.
I think
let's not talk about that.
We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, let's not even go there. He's actually just transitioned. He served his time as a beautiful presence here with us. He gave so many gifts here, and he lived to be pretty old, I'm pretty sure. But what I love, and I think why I wanted to bring it up, was because of the fact that they transitioned so closely from each other. And I think it's really cool because it just shows, you have that energetic thing, on this planet. And
like the Lennon-McCartney thing, the chemistry and that
except
kind of thing.
that Paul is still here, and that's
true.
Really confusing things right now.
So is Ringo, so don't feel too bad. But yeah, so
Ringo wears sunglasses so that death cannot find him.
That's true, and he also has a really, really strict vegetarian diet, and he looks very healthy.
He does. He's always looked great.
But Andrew Love and Wayne Jackson. Andrew passed away back in 2012, and Wayne just passed away last week. Very sad news. Again, it's kind of like one of those things where this year, it feels like a lot of people are from the classic era are passing away at an alarming rate. But, you know, and it's true. I mean, a lot of the rock legends were finally getting into the golden years, a lot of the folks in the 60s, and it really hits home when all these folks that you grew up with, listening to the records that were around when you were, and you start to lose them. So it's a little crazy this year.
It's almost like surreal in a way, but it's...
Yeah, it is. So,
yes.
So I was just a little bit of background of the history. So Wayne Jackson had his first gold record when he was still in high school, performing on the instrumental Last Night with the Marquis. And that was released in '61, and it rose to number 3 on the pop charts and was included on the first album issued by Stax. And that was a label that put Memphis on the map for that genre, outside of obviously a lot of country stuff. But it was, you know, it was at that phase where things were going away from the big cities, New York and LA, and you were starting to get a lot of the more regional recording studios set up, and things were really changing pretty rapidly. But they were actually part of the house band at Stax with Booker T and the MGs. The Marquis played on records by Otis Redding, Eddie Floyd, Sam and Dave, Albert King, Carla, and Rufus Thomas. And really, that was that backbone that you hear whenever you hear those records. That was just a huge part of the sound, along with Booker T, obviously, and the MGs. But you know, that was just the beginning for him. And if you just go back and listen to the songs, one that comes to mind almost all the time from that era, things like Soul Man, that for me is like the quintessential Memphis Horns tracks. And of course, everyone knows about Otis Redding's Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, which was, of course, a massive hit before we sadly lost Otis Redding. So I'm going to try and play this. I'm going to
I'm
through it a little bit.
I'm actually trying to find the songs right now.
So we're going to, in a few minutes, I'll tell you about the one evening that I got to spend with Wayne Jackson in LA almost exactly 10 years ago when he was in town. And our manager, Adam Sloat, actually said, hey, do you guys have any songs you want some horns on? And what was really cool is we actually did have a song that we were looking to get some horns on. And it was a song that we have actually not released yet.
I love that song.
It's a song called Stand Up.
It's so good. And Ricky couldn't be here to play it because he's got a
band practice.
last minute band practice.
So, but it was like, kind of went like this. Stand up, take a look at yourself. Before you know it's all over. And then you realize you had a great time. Don't really care that it's over, it's over. So, and it had this great sort of climb part up to the chorus. And we had this idea for horns, and we told Wayne Jackson, we're like, hey, Wayne, we think this is what you should play. And of course he's like, no, guys, why don't you do it like this? And I'm like, no, Wayne, you don't seem to understand. No, I was just like, what do you got? Lay it on me. And so we kind of came up with this whole part, which is like this. And we laid down some octaves on it and stuff, but he was just awesome. We hung out for about an hour and a half. And then we went out to have drinks at the Dresden. But it was such an honor being able to record with him. And, you know, the whole time, I'll never forget, he said, hey, guys, this is great hanging out and recording with you, but I can't wait to go have a drink, and I'll tell you some stories, man. I got some good ones for you. And sure enough, he did. So I think we have a couple of photos that we might be able to share.
Yeah, we're trying to get Super Tech 76 here.
Super Tech 76, which is Master Randy MC. So anyway, we'll get to those in a little bit. But yeah, we actually ended up getting to go over to hang out at the Dresden in Hollywood afterwards. And Marty and Elaine were playing, which was amazing, just kind of hanging out watching them. But the real, of course, attraction that evening was just hanging out in the booth with Wayne Jackson and hearing all of his stories.
Oh.
What do you got?
I'm supposed to...
But yeah, you should probably let him in first, right?
Well, I thought Oh, criminy. Hold on. Sorry, Randy. Does that work? Okay, you should be good now. Sorry about that. You're asking the impossible of me.
All right, I'll sing a song. I'll butcher this one, but I'll do my best at it if you can pull it. All right,
You
so
can't say I'll butcher this one.
sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in. Then I watch them roll away again. I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia. Oh, sorry. Heading for the Frisco Bay. Wait, oh, I'm sorry. Guys, I had nothing to live for. It looks like nothing's gonna come my way. I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Can you do the whistle?
No.
All right, fine.
But I can
Anyway.
do the bass line.
That doesn't help me out.
Okay, so.
Actually, that would have helped me out.
Oh, sorry. And now I just wasn't prepared. But I believe that he who did that song again?
It was Otis Redding.
Okay, so Otis Redding was influenced by Sgt. Pepper's, by the Beatles, and he wanted to take his music to this next level.
Yeah. I didn't know that story. But
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like that's why, I mean, to me, like,
God only knows what he would have done next. Like you think about, getting taken out so early, just when everything started to really take off.
We're still waiting on pictures.
That's
I'm
cool.
not sure because.
So I'll play another song. Let's see here. What else do I know that would be pretty good? All right. So here's one that Memphis Horns played on. Elvis arguably did one of his best albums, Elvis in Memphis. Somehow he was. They rescued him away out of Hollywood when he was doing wrapping up the whole movie thing to record a really awesome album. And I think it's probably.
I think we got a picture.
Oh, we do. Okay. So, Randy, thank you for sharing. That's us hanging out. That's Ricky, our manager, Adam Sloat on the left, me on the far right, and then Wayne right there. Good old time.
What year is that?
This is 2006, March of 2000 or June of 2006. I want to say somewhere around there.
So, you seem really happy to be there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was. He was having the greatest time. He was so much fun.
Where's that? That's studio?
Yeah, that's the studio. You can see Wayne off to the right there a little bit, and me kind of running the mixing desk. And he was just belting it out. We worked for about 45 minutes, laid down a couple tracks, and then we vaulted in there. He's probably telling me a story about Aretha Franklin. I remember.
So his partner was already transitioned?
Oh no, this all the At this point, no. At this point, I don't think Andrew was playing at this point. I think he had retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was just at that point. I think that
down.
Yeah, and another fella had come in to take his place,
Okay.
and that's at the studio. And there's probably some funny pictures too. I don't know what I posted, but there's some good stuff in there. There's one of Ricky having a good old time. I love that shot. We were just laughing a lot, having some good old times, and a couple of drinks.
Where's the Dresden?
The Dresden is in Hollywood, Los Feliz. We used to live up.
Okay, and that is.
Okay, that's Marty from Marty and Elaine. And if you haven't seen them, you better go out and see them. If you're not in LA and you come here, you have to go to the Dresden. And I'm not sure how many nights they still play or what frequency, but we used to go see them quite a bit. And talk about It's a husband and wife kind of duo. They both switch off on instruments, but he mainly plays drums and sings, and she plays piano. And they do standards, but they do a lot of like songs like you would never expect, and they just have their own thing going. It's probably about the last of the classic old school entertainment that's left around, either in Las Vegas or
that we're going
in
to
LA.
that we're going to tell you about, because the rest we're
keep
hiding from you.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
can crown it, because we've been cursed by that before. Sorry.
Yeah. So that was truly a great night, and actually we never released that song. It sounds really awesome, and it's actually, I don't know if it's been used for anything yet. I think it has been in some TV shows and things. We just never actually put it out, actually purchase it. So I came with the idea that we would actually pull together some of those recordings we did back then and release them on a CD, and take the funds of those CDs and put them towards Ricky's Foot. That's
what
plan.
I'm thinking. I want to record a song too. I want to be a part of that. Where I don't know. It has to be an original. Can't steal someone else's song to raise money for Ricky. Sorry, Ricky. You get 1%.
Right.
The rest goes to the actual writer. No. That's cool. You're
welcome.
Pictures. Randy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Randy.
For sharing.
We're caught in a trap. We can't walk out, because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing when you don't believe a word I'm saying? We can't go on together, suspicious minds, and we can't build our dreams with suspicious minds. So with an old friend I know, stop trying to say hello, but I still see suspicion in your eyes. If we go up again, asking where I've been, you can't see these tears until I'm crying. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can't build our dreams on suspicious minds. All right, I'm not going to put Middle Clarkson slows down. Frankly, we don't have enough time.
Well, usually what Tom will do.
Frankly, I was kind of sucking on that one.
Well, no, he likes to ham it up, and like if he's standing and everything, like the slow part is where he'll get on his knees and like really bring it, and kind of.
So you're saying that was a major disappointment?
No, kind of. I've seen people get scared because they weren't sure where you were going with that. I was like, oh, and I mean, believe me, I've seen this guy do the Doors on bar stools, and it's something quite levitating.
I'll go for that, levitating.
Yeah.
But back to Memphis Horns. So a couple other things. In the 70s, they did the sax thing in the 60s. But in the 70s, it kind of morphed, and they were doing like more stuff. Obviously, Suspicious Minds, that was probably 70 or 69. But as they went into the 70s, they started doing more stuff with different artists, folks like Elvis, but also you think of Neil Diamond as well. They did a bunch of stuff for Neil Diamond.
Yeah, it's cool because they started with Stax, and then it's like, I think Atlantic, they were a distribution of Atlantic or something, but it grew, it allowed them to expand into the 70s, and then they were doing their own thing. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I'm just kind of playing along.
Okay. Hey, see, isn't that cool?
There you
it's
go.
Like, look, here we are.
I love it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so I think they did their first, I'll have to look it up because I haven't heard a lot of their actual own recordings, but they did some records in the 70s that just
you can find them on YouTube, and they got like a Grammy. I'm going to post that actually of them getting an award. It's really cool. Big deal.
They got a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012. And thank goodness for that, because I remember that was one of those things that Adam Sloat, our manager who managed them as well, was pushing for a long time. And I remember, that was just a big deal.
Give it up for Adam Sloat.
Good job.
See, sometimes it could be so obvious, and still just to have that extra push. And too bad, they couldn't both be there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. I know Andrew passed away in 2012, but I don't know if he was around for that.
Or if he was able.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. Definitely, Wayne was there, I'm sure.
So what were some quotes from when you were at the Dresden? Because you were sharing stories with me that I think are kind of cool to share here. It's like he was having a good time.
Yeah, he's having a great time. And we talked about a lot of stuff.
Why was he here in LA?
I can't remember. I think he was actually recording on, what's her name's? Pull up that list. It was somebody, a big R&B star that had asked, and I remember when Sloat was telling me, scroll down a little bit. And there was a second, was it Alicia? It wasn't Alicia Keys. It was, keep going down.
This is where I did this.
Oh, yeah, no, you got it right there.
Oh, I did.
All right, so,
all
right, so this is kind of cool. Scroll up just a little bit, and I didn't realize this, but they may have played the Replacements. Damn, what's that song that I love so much? I'll think of it in a minute. The one that has the really cool Memphis sounding horns on it.
Wow.
Plus, this is kind of cool. So some other folks that they worked with, and I got this from Adam, but they worked with Billy Joel and Bonnie Raitt, Joe Cocker, Mark Knopfler, Stephen Stills, the Doobie Brothers, James Taylor, Rod Stewart, Willie Nelson, Marty Robbins, Jimmy Buffett. Primal Scream was one of my favorite bands. Oh my God, I never even put two and two together. That's awesome. And I know exactly what stuff they did now that I think about it.
Cool.
See, I'm not an aficionado or anything.
We're learning.
Lyle Lovett, Jerry Lee Lewis, B.B. King, Fine Young Cannibals, Ray Charles, Robert Cray, Little Feat, the Box Tops, John Prine, the Staple Singers, Johnny Cash, the Hooters, the Replacements, Jose Feliciano, Joan Armatrading, Wayne Newton, Lenny Kravitz, Cinderella, and many more. I'll have to get the Cinderella song. So scroll down a little bit more.
Cool.
That's awesome. Cinderella with the Memphis Horns. Like, who looked that up? I'll have to ask him about that one. So our manager, I asked him, I said, refresh my memory. How did you meet these guys? And he said, basically, he was managing blues producer Dennis Walker, and he was producing his client Mim Shannon's album at Arden Studios in Memphis. He suggested we bring in the Memphis Horns because he knew him and worked with them a bunch. And while they were in the studio, he chatted with Wayne and Andrew. They really hit it off, and he realized they didn't seem to have any representation. So he asked them if they needed a manager, and they said, "Sure, you can manage us," which is awesome. And it went something like that. So I think Adam was probably 24, 25 at the time. And so it was awesome. And hey, that's how stuff happens. So
Love it.
we had the good fortune of working with Wayne.
They touched our lives.
Yeah.
That's
so
beautiful.
We probably only have time for another song or so. There you go.
There you go.
Awesome.
Aww.
So probably I would say of the songs they recorded in the set, maybe, let's see, they did Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, like Raindrops Keep Falling.
I have that 45.
Yeah.
I'll never all right, so anyway, I always like that song. Put the horns in there.
Thomas is so cute. If you see him singing that song, he looks like he's in his 20s. And
yeah,
it's like, oh my God, he's so cute.
Yeah, and apparently I heard the story he had to fight to get that song. Like they were looking at having somebody else do it, and he was saying, or maybe his voice was blown and he wasn't sure, so you can kind of almost hear him cracking some notes at some point. But I love that. That's one of my favorite vocals. Memphis Horns also recorded on Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline, which is pretty awesome when you think about that.
Did you learn that one?
Shoot. I didn't really learn it, but it's the lyrics for it. Hey, are there lyrics? I'll give it a shot if you pull them up.
Sweet Caroline.
about at 9.
Oh, they're there?
Cleverly disguised his lyrics.
Are you serious? Is this it?
Yeah. Here it began. Can't begin to know it. But then I know it's going strong. Wow, that's cool. Was it the spring? And then became the summer. Whatever leaves you come along. Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching me.
Sweet
Caroline. I've never seen so good. I didn't mind to believe they never would.
seems
Times never seem so good. I'd be inclined to believe they never would. Sweet Caroline. I'm gonna write a song about it. No, I'm not gonna go to Will Ferrell's.
Yeah, that's so good. Have you seen Will Ferrell? And
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You're gonna have to pull that one up. All right, so anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour. We've covered a lot of songs, played a lot of great music this time.
it covered information that is really hard to find on the internet. And
That's right. You can, in fact, you can find it nowhere else. So we want all of you to pick up that phone right now and just call us at 1-800 Fabulous Playground Lab. I know that sounds like too many numbers, but when you actually dial it out, it actually completes. You can keep hitting the keys because that's really cool and clever and memorable, but you don't have to once you hit the.
But it's too complicated to tell you when to stop. And
Right.
really, we want you to remember Fabulous
So again, this is the
Playground.
kind of music and stories and that you're just not going to see anywhere else.
Yeah, and you can't find it, even Wikipedia, thank you, but still, there was information here that I couldn't find on the internet. When I looked to see what songs were there, I could not get a real list.
It is
like,
true.
oh, these people covered da 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 da
I
da,
have
and
to
then
say-
Stax was here, and then they were gone, and then and like, ah!
Out of all the blabs we've done, this has more exclusive information because we know the manager.
History
Right.
teachers, I mean musical history teachers.
Right. All right, everybody. Well, hey, I think that probably
I know what he's going out with. I have a mental picture.
what?
Da, 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 da.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know this song, man. But
I'm a school man.
there it is.
Oh, he's got it. We'll do our best. Well, he'll do his best. So that's Memphis Horns. Man, I can totally hear
I'm a
it.
soul man. I'm a soul man. All right, that's all I know. And I don't even know
so
it. So
good. What are we going to exit out with then?
that. Oh no, let's exit out with this one. Sweet
Okay, there we go.
Caroline.
Yay, thank you.
Good times never seem so good.
Thank you to everybody involved with
I'd be inclined
creation.
to believe they never would.
Beautiful gift of music and contributions to music. They're tight, beautiful sounds. on, not because it may have not been listed, but it's all good. So anyway, Randy, thank you everybody, thank you Memphis Horns, thank you Floyd. We love you.